This is a naval wargame replicating at 1/700 scale Japanese manoeuvres in World War II, where a small force of destroyers and mine layers led by Matsu is out to sink the submarines I-58 and I-16, led by the Japanese destroyer Ayanami. The I-16 is a powerful attack submarine with 10 forward-firing torpedoes and carrying on her back a special-purpose mini-sub called the Kohyoteki. She is supported in this game by the reconnaissance sub I-58, with only 8 forward-firing torpedoes, but carrying an effective float plane. The table is 1300 by 1500 millimeters, and the ranges of the 5-inch guns on the destroyers are 500 millimeters, and the torpedoes have a range of 350 millimeters, making it an even game despite the mine layers and subchasers having depth charges, which gives them the edge. The destroyer Ayanami goes hard a port, leaving her subchasers to advance. Matsu is alone on the surface now as her subs have dived. The Matsu fires her guns and torpedoes at the subchasers, whilst torpedoes suddenly appear threatening the Ayanami and letting her know that the submarines are nearby and have dived. The Ayanami is fast enough and manoeuvrable enough to avoid the torpedoes, whilst the shell battle between Matsu and the subchasers hit home but not much damage. Not as manoeuvrable as a destroyer, one of the minesweepers gets hit by an errant torpedo. Meanwhile, the Ayanami wants to force the sub to the surface by depth charging an area. May have some success. And the debris that rises to the surface indicates it was a success. The I-16 has been destroyed. The Matsu sends another salvo of torpedoes and gets a shell hit on the subchaser as well. A dice throw of a 5 and a 6 makes the shell hit fatal on the subchaser, and the torpedoes following up will close its fate. The other submarine remains submersed, so the mine layers decide to depth charge the area and hopefully force it up, and then hopefully the Ayanami can deal with it. They have also successfully avoided the torpedoes launched by the Matsu, but both destroyers are inactive at the moment, and the depth charging has to continue to force the submarine to the surface. Finally, the I-16 is forced to the surface and is not positioned to launch her deadly torpedoes. The Matsu is too far away to assist her in this battle. She's on her own. Due to the inability of submarines to manoeuvre well underwater, she is left exposed on the surface, and the Ayanami takes out a 5-inch gun. And the Ayanami also launches 2 21-inch torpedoes directly at the stricken and slow submarine. It's a hit, but a dice throw of a 3 does little damage to the submarine. The Ayanami is close enough and her captain is daring enough to ram the submarine, and a throw of 5 tears a good gash in the side of the hull, but because the sub is surfaced, it's not a problem. A damage control throw on the dice of 9 out of a possible 12 means the crew of the sub can begin repairs, but they are under duress. The coup de grace is administered by the Ayanami via depth charges, and 1 fatal 6 is thrown, and the naval mines sink the I-16 submarine. So the battle has clearly been won by the Ayanami task force with the mine layers and subchasers. The destroyer Matsu will leave the area for her home port, her crew and captain more experienced now after this devastating loss.